हेलो फ्रेंड्स। आज हम आपके साथ मोशन इन ए स्ट्रेट लाइन चैप्टर डिस्कस करते हैं। यू सी, मोशन इज इन ए स्ट्रेट लाइन is related to mechanics. Mechanics is the branch of physics that deals with the conditions of rest or motion of the material objects around us. It is one of the oldest branches of physics. There are three sub branches of mechanics, and these are, we could say that mechanics has three sub branches. And what are those sub branches? These are statics. It deals uh, with the objects at rest or in equilibrium. So we can say objects are either at rest or in equilibrium, right? So even when they are under the action or several forces, the measurement of time is not essential in statics. The another branch of mechanics is known as kinematics. This branch of mechanics deals with the study of motion of objects without considering the cause of motion. Here, measurement of time is essential. The word kinematic comes from Greek word kinema, which means motion. So here in kinematics, we are dealing with uh, forces, and the object is under motion. And the third part is dynamics. In dynamics, it is the branch of mechanics that deals with the study of motion of objects, taking into consideration the cause of their motion. Okay? So, if you see here in kinematics, deals with the study of motion, with the study of motion of objects without considering the cause of motion, without considering the cause of motion. Okay. However, in dynamics, we need to consider the cause of motion. So here we could say that it deals with the study of motion of objects uh, while we consider while we consider the cause of motion. ओके, आई होप ये बात समझ में आ गई होगी आपके कि भाई हमारे पास जो मैकेनिक्स है उसमें हम तीन फर्दर सब ब्रांचेस हैं: स्टैटिक्स, काइनेमेटिक्स एंड डायनेमिक्स. नाउ लेट अस डिस्कस व्हाट इज रेस्ट एंड मोशन. रेस्ट एंड मोशन. सो रेस्ट को हम समझ सकते हैं कि when the object does not change its position with respect to its surrounding. फॉर एग्जाम्पल मान लो एक एक टेबल है इस तरह से, ओके, एंड देन इसके ऊपर एक ये ऑब्जेक्ट रखा हुआ है, isn't it? So in its surrounding, this object, let's say this object's name is A, it is simply kept on the table. So this, we can clearly say that this object is at rest. Hope this is understood. So when we say that it is with respect to its surrounding, means with respect to surrounding, there is no motion of the object. So we can say, for example, a book lying on the table would remain at rest. Okay. Now what about motion? This is at rest. या हम कह सकते हैं object at rest. Let's talk about motion. Suppose we talk about motion, then we say an object is said to be in motion if it changes its position. मान लो किसी ऑब्जेक्ट की पोजीशन चेंज हो रही है, isn't it? Let's say there is a vehicle which is moving from position, let's say P1, and all the way this is going to a new position, let's say P2. Then during this process, the object is said to be in motion. So we could say that we have to understand that the object, or we could say that none of the object in the universe is at absolute rest. So the absolute motion cannot be realized. Only relative rest and relative motion can be realized. It's very important to understand this concept. Now let us think this discussion. Let's say Earth can be regarded as a point object. We would rather like to discuss what is a point object. So we say that if the position of an object changes by distances much greater than its own size in a reasonable duration of time, then the object may be regarded as a point object. So when a point object moves, its rotational and vibrational motion may be ignored. So we would say Earth can be regarded as a point object for studying its motion around the sun. आप देखेंगे कि हमारा जो सोलर सिस्टम है, it's huge. So when we really compare with the size of the solar system and we see the motion of Earth with respect to sun, we can definitely take or consider Earth as a point object. Similarly, we can consider a train journey under a journey of several hundred kilometers, and we can say that train can be regarded as a point object. So I'm quite sure आपको point object का concept समझ में आ गया होगा. Now we could possibly understand what is one dimension motion. One dimension motion. Now let's say an object is at some point O, and in a single direction on a line, this object travels a distance, let's say x1, and reaches at P1. And then it further travels a distance x2 and reaches at another point P2. We would say that such a motion of the object is called unidimensional or motion in one dimension. जब भी आप एक ही सिंपल एक लाइन में चल रहे होते हैं तो वो जो मोशन है आपकी यूनिडायमेंशनल या मोशन इन वन डायमेंशन कहलाती है. ओके. नाउ what is the two dimensional motion? Let us try to understand. Let's say what is two dimensional motion. Let us say we take a Cartesian plane. आपको सबको मालूम है x x dash y y dash और एक यहाँ पे हम पॉइंट ऑफ रेफरेंस O ले लेते हैं. अब यहाँ पे आप ध्यान से देखोगे तो हमें क्या दिख रहा है. सपोज एक ऑब्जेक्ट है जिसकी लोकेशन लेट्स से P1 ले लेते हैं हम x1, y1 and then this object travels like this to another point P2 which is x2, y2. क्या आपको लग रहा है कि ये यूनिडायमेंशनल मोशन है? द आंसर विल बी नो, बिकॉज द मोशंस इज serpentine or there is a curve involved where there are two coordinates x and y are involved. Therefore, we will say that such a motion is not unidimensional. Or we can say that this kind of motion is on a Cartesian plane. Okay? Hope you understood this concept. अब हम बात करते हैं how do we distinguish between distance and displacement. Distance and displacement. This is a very interesting phenomena. इसको एक एग्जाम्पल से समझते हैं. कैसे समझें? फिर से एक कार्टेशियन प्लेन लेते हैं. We say this is my x, this is x dash, this is y, this is y dash, this is O. Okay. Now let us take that there is an object and then object starts from a point A and it moves in this direction to a point B. Let's say it moves in the direction X to a point B and it traveled a distance, let's say 4 meter. And then from B to C, it travels, let us say it travels how much? Let's say it travels 3 meter to another point C towards y direction. Now, as a matter of fact, आप कहेंगे कि भाई ये ऑब्जेक्ट कितना चला टोटल? You will say it traveled a distance कितना? AB प्लस BC, यही बोलेंगे ना. सो AB की वैल्यू कितनी है? 4 मीटर और BC की वैल्यू कितनी है? 3 मीटर. सो आप कहेंगे object has traveled a distance of 7 meter. Now here lies the concept of displacement. The displacement is defined as the distance between initial and final point. अच्छा देखें यहाँ पे इनिशियल पॉइंट कौन सा है? A. And then what would we say? फाइनल पॉइंट कौन सा है? C. तो डिस्टेंस बिटवीन A and C, the shortest distance between A and C is if we join the line AC. So what would be the AC? AC, suppose this was 90 degree. So we can say ABC as a right angle triangle. So we can use Pythagorean as AC square is AB square plus BC square. Then we could possibly say 4 square plus 3 square, which is nothing but 16 plus 9. So we could say AC square is nothing but 25. So what would be my AC? AC would be under root 25, and we could write it as 5 meter. So AC is what is known as displacement, because displacement की definition ने क्या बताई? Initial and final point के बीच की जो shortest distance है वो हमें displacement कहलाती है, or we call it displacement. I am sure that you must have understood the fundamental difference between this distance as well as displacement. So we call it distance. हमारे लिए क्या है? Distance है हमारी total path length. So we say distance is the total path length traversed. Okay. While displacement is the shortest distance between initial and final point. Clear हो गया? So let us now say what could be the characteristics of displacement. So we can say, okay, displacement has the units of length. Second characteristic, you can say the displacement of an object can be positive. Also, it can be negative or zero. Okay. Then you could say, let's say, how do we understand the displacement? Suppose the reference point is O, and then some object has traveled, let's say, to a point A in positive x direction, and let's say this distance was, let's say, 9 meter. So we would say with reference to O, the point has actually moved to 9 meter on the right side. So what is the net path length from between initial and final point? It is 9 meter and it's in the positive x direction. So we'll say the displacement was positive. Now let's say further we say, okay, this gentleman actually traveled 9 like this, 9 meter till point A, and then it came back all the way to back to point O, and then it traveled in the negative direction with respect to O, let's say 3 meters, to a point, let's say C. So first it has gone from O to A, then it has come back. It has come back like this, and then it has gone to point C, with reference to O on the left side as 3 meters. So do you see what was the motion of the object? O to A, from A back to O, and then from O to C. Now here, initial point, what was the initial point in this entire discussion? Initial point was O. And final point क्या है? Final point is C. सो जो नेट पाथ लेंथ है वो आपकी किस डायरेक्शन में है? नेगेटिव एक्स डायरेक्शन में विद रिस्पेक्ट टू ओ. सो व्हाट इज द डिस्प्लेसमेंट इन दिस केस? द डिस्प्लेसमेंट is -3 meter. Now suppose it could have started from O, then it has gone to A and came back to O. Then in such a case, we would have said that displacement would have been 0. So hope this concept of displacement is now clear. Also, we could say that displacement is a vector quantity. Okay, while distance is a scalar quantity. Okay, so this is all about displacement as well as distance. Let me make it little more clear by one example. हम एक ऑब्जेक्ट को मान लेते हैं कि वो एक सर्कुलर पाथ पे ट्रेवल कर रहा है. लेट अस से सर्कुलर पाथ की जो रेडियस है वो 7 मीटर लेके चलते हैं अब ओ ए. अब हम इसको ना एक क्वाड्रेंट में ट्रेवल कराते हैं. लेट्स से ए से बी तक ट्रेवल किया इन्होंने फर्स्ट क्वाड्रेंट में, सर्कल के फर्स्ट क्वाड्रेंट में इस ऑब्जेक्ट ने ट्रेवल किया. कहाँ से स्टार्ट किया? ए से, और ऐसे चलते हुए ये कहाँ पहुंच गए? बी तक. सच दैट बी ओ ए इज 90 डिग्री. नाउ व्हाट वुड बी द डिस्प्लेसमेंट? द डिस्प्लेसमेंट वुड बी, आप देखिए, द डिस्प्लेसमेंट वुड बी ए बी. सो what would be my displacement in this case? Displacement is 7 square under root, as I explained earlier. So it is 7 under root 2. What would be the distance? The distance would be AB path, whatever is traveled. So it would be 2 pi r, that was the circumference, divided by 4, because it's quarter of the periphery. So let's just write down twice, multiplied by 22 by 7, multiplied by 7, divided by 4, that much. So how much is my answer? So we would say that it would be 11 meter. Hope you understood this case 1. Now let us take case 2. In this case 2, let us understand that the object begin from A and all the way it has traveled on a semicircular path to B. And then what would be my displacement? So the displacement would be nothing but AB. In this case, displacement is AB, which is 2 times 7. So we can say this is 14 meter. And what about the distance? Distance this time object ने travel किया कितना? 2 pi r divided by 2, because semicircle चला है. So we can say that it is 22 by 7 multiplied by 7. So it is 22 meter. So let us take case 3. where the object actually traveled all the way like this, and we say that how much it has now traveled as a distance. The distance would be 3/4 of the circumference. So we would say 2 times pi times r. So it is 3/4 into 2 times 22/7 times 7. So we would call it, so this is 33 meter. And what is the displacement in this case? The displacement would be, obviously it will be AC. So we will say that displacement AC would be 7 square plus 7 square under root, which is 7 root 2. Now in the last case, let us now take case 4. And how could we envision this whole thing? Let us say the object A now travels through the entire circular path and came back to A. So what would be the displacement? In this case, displacement would be 0 because it has come to the same point. Therefore, there is no difference between the initial and final point. Hence, the displacement was 0. While the distance was now complete 2 pi r. So let us just see how much the distance is. 2 times 22/7 times 7. So your distance is now 44 meter. I'm sure students, you must have understood the concept of distance and displacement through this discussion. Please continue to watch our various sessions where you develop a lot of knowledge about physics, mathematics, computer science, English, astrology, and various other such subjects. I'm sure you must have liked these concepts and your understanding. Thank you very much. Love you all. This is Dr. Ram Sharma. You can contact me for your online or offline classes as and when you would like to study more about these subjects. Thank you very much.